Next, I'd like to introduce my boss, our Senior Vice President for Ag and Natural Resources, Dr. Jack Payne. Jack has a long past in extension. I think you tell me this is your 5th land-grant university.
Can't hold a job.
And that's what he always says. But Jack, it's great to have you here to share some of your thoughts as well.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks very much, Nick, and thank you, President Glover. I wanted to make sure you noticed the Gator Glory plants that are up front here. These plants were developed by Dave Clark in our Department of Environmental Horticulture, and they become the favorite of Chris Machen, wife of our president. So every time we have a celebration over the president's house, which is usually a couple nights a week, we give these out as people leave. So Joe and I have seen a lot of these plants to the point where now every time he sees a dead one, he takes a picture of his iPhone and sends it to me by email. Nick, thanks again. Your leadership is terrific. We have one of the best deans of extension in the country, and really appreciate everything he does. Well, happy anniversary, happy 100th anniversary to Extension. I want to acknowledge all the wonderful men and women in Extension, from campus to all 67 of our counties, who work hard every single day bringing a better quality of life to the people of the state. Happy anniversary to all of you, and thank all of you for what you do. I know Extension well. I've had the great privilege of leading 2 state extension services, Utah and Iowa. And prior to that, I served as an extension specialist in Pennsylvania and in Texas. For 10 years, I worked for a nonprofit conservation organization and partnered with extension services in many states, such as Alaska, Hawaii, California, Louisiana, South Carolina, to name a few. And I was integrating conservation practices in traditional farming operations. But for all these efforts, extension was my contact that made the program work with growers. Extension is a most powerful tool. Now, just last year, we celebrated the 150th anniversary of the Morrill Act, which created these wonderful land-grant universities, of which the University of Florida belongs. It is said that these great institutions built this country and continue to do so today. And I agree. But I also will submit to you that the glue that makes that possible, that brings success to our discoveries and success to the industries those discoveries support, is the Cooperative Extension Service. Anniversaries are wonderful opportunities to look back on where we've been and to take a moment to be proud of our collective accomplishments. And for IFAS Extension, that list is long and impressive. But a milestone like a centennial also deserves more than nostalgic remembrances. It also deserves our reflecting on why we started this institution in the first place, and a renewal of our commitment to the very noble and ambitious intentions that created the cooperative extension movement. The 1914 Smith-Lever legislation that established the National Extension Movement is not as well known as other legislation such as the Morrill Act that established the land-grant system, which I just mentioned. But it is no less important to our nation and its development as one of the most successful democracies in the world. The Smith-Lever Act is legislation that sets the United States apart. It created a unique appropriation system that set up a shared partnership among the federal, state, and county levels of our government. Time has shown us that this prototype was a uniquely American concept and one that encouraged collaboration and cooperation among our federal, state, and county governments, something that our more recent experiences tell us is a very valuable and rare situation. Most importantly, it allowed for university faculty to be placed in local communities to bring that knowledge directly to the people. During my tenure at Iowa State University, I was involved each year with the World Food Prize, which occurs in Des Moines, Iowa. And every year, 60 to 70 countries participate, and almost every international speaker references their envy of the cooperative extension service in the United States, and how fortunate we are to have it, and how a similar system is so much needed in their own countries. Great ideas like the Smith-Lever Act come from the hard work of many people, including the thousands of faculty and staff who have worked diligently to make available science-based knowledge for every farmer, every family, every community in our state. Knowledge that can improve the quality of life by helping people to help themselves. It was very telling last year when the oyster fishery collapsed in Apalachicola Bay. This is a fishery managed by 3 different state agencies. However, the soon-to-be out-of-work oystermen didn't go first to these agencies for assistance. They went to our county extension agents and our Sea Grant extension agents for help. Because one of the qualities of extension is that, unlike state and federal agencies, it has no regulatory authority, which enables a great amount of trust to be developed by its clientele. Now, I'm sure there are those in the audience today, especially students, who may not be very familiar with extension. Some of you might even be benefiting from extension and not even know it. I have heard extension sometimes compared to cellophane, in that it's there, you just don't see it. Meaning that it has been a part of the local community for so long, has always been expected to be there, is always there making things work better, that they become invisible and are taken for granted. We can never take for granted anything that has such a high value as cooperative extension. So if you want to learn about extension, go to the schools where extension teaches children about good nutrition. Go talk to the families who live in poverty and see the results of our family programs in financial counseling, healthy living, and good parenting. Go to the communities in the Panhandle and visit with the families of commercial fishermen with whom we work who lost their livelihoods in the Gulf oil spill. You want to learn about extension? Go talk to the many communities around the state about the help they receive regarding their own beautification plans or sustainable development opportunities. Visit with the thousands of master gardeners and master naturalists whom we have trained. Go talk to the tomato growers and ask them how they learned to control whitefly. Ask the avocado growers where they are getting help with the laurel wilt fungus. Ask the sugar growers about orange rust, and the citrus growers about assistance in combating greening and other devastating diseases that they face. Ask our cattle ranchers about the help they receive on livestock forage and range management. Ask any grower about water conservation, micro-irrigation, time-release fertilizers, and from whom they get that information. Ask homeowners who have benefited from our energy and water conservation programs. Go to any high school and visit with the student leadership, and you will learn that most of those young men and women are in our Extension 4-H program. And I could go on and on and on. Today, as we celebrate Extension Centennial, I wonder if those who voted for the Smith-Lever Act those many years ago could imagine the magnitude of their action. Could they imagine the difference in improved health care, improved nutrition, food safety, community development, energy efficiency, water quality, and conservation? Could they envision the impact on millions of young people who have benefited from our 4-H program? Could they comprehend the billions of dollars in economic impact that we have had on our agricultural and natural resource systems alone? At IFAS, I'm proud of how we've remained true to the principles of this act. And every day we take that knowledge from our campus labs and our research centers across this state via extension to our people, adding to their quality of life and making Florida a better place to live. But we're not satisfied with our successes to date. We know we must do more. The world changes, people's lives change, and so must extension. Just yesterday, I met with Dr. Mark Atkinson in my office. I don't know if you see the U.S. Shands commercials of him walking down the aisle in Publix. They talk about how his research is saving lives of diabetic kids, and there's a little girl with her mom walking the other way, and they pass each other. They don't know who each other is. Very effective commercials. Well, he's a world-famous diabetes researcher, and he's in the process of creating an international center on campus for both type 1 and type 2 diabetes research. He's extremely impressed with our extension programs throughout the state, working with families at schools and providing nutrition education that will prevent type 2 diabetes, a disease which is in epidemic proportions in our country today. Because of this work, Dr. Atkinson has invited IFAS to be a partner in his institute. And I mention this because it's an example where Dean Place and I want to take extension in the future. We're laying plans across campus with other colleges, such as the colleges of medicine, dentistry, nursing, where we plan to take health care to the people of the state. We're making plans with the College of Public Health as well, and the College of Engineering, where we are planning an engineering extension service to work in our county offices to provide assistance to new businesses and technology startups. We're working with the College of Construction Design and Planning on developing sustainable communities. We want to work with the College of Music and Fine Arts to take art and culture to the people of the state. In other words, we are planning an extension service that will take to the citizens of Florida all that this great university has to offer. So please join me in wishing all of Florida Extension a very happy 100th anniversary, and more importantly, looking to the next 100 years of contribution and accomplishment. As I like to say, you can expect great things from IFAS. Thank you. Go Gators.